Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Around the Pound. This week I will be your host, Marcus Shadow, and we will be taking a look at the top 5 worst movie adaptations of a children's television show. Joining me, of course, we have the TV guy, James Phoenix.
Hello.
And we have from the Gaming Zone, Chriz, aka The Mole.
Hello.
Alright, so I guess since I'm the host, I will kick things off with my number 5, which is, I gotta get the image up. Hang on a second here. I should have had this already up here.
Live!
Yeah, sorry about that. Here it is. That is my number 5. Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah, the first movie was okay, but this one just the story concept was actually not terrible, but come on, focusing way too much on the humans, basically completely raping and destroying my favorite Transformer of all time, and then you call that Devastator? Really? No. Devastator should not have steel balls. I'm sorry. No. Just the movie was terrible. It was really, really bad.
That was pretty bad. It had no resemblance of a story or anything. It was like, what the fuck is that? And those two racist characters. That was pretty bad.
Oh, God. Yeah, the racist, too. Yeah, the execution of the story sucked. The concept, like I said, was good. I actually thought the concept was interesting and clever. The whole, with the Fallen coming to Earth and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I could kind of buy that story, but God, the way you're telling the story is terrible.
If that had been the Fallen.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That wasn't the Fallen. Oh, so bad. It's not Transformers. Oh, it makes me cry. But let's head on over to Jim for his number 5.
Alrighty. Oh, there we go. So for my number 5, we're going to start off with a movie that I'm going to admit, this movie is a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoy this movie, but it is not by any stretch of the imagination a good movie. And that is The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I've seen that.
Oh, is that the new one? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I can't tell. Is this facing the right way for you? Because it's backwards for me.
Yes.
It's the right way for me.
Okay, fair enough. As long as everybody can see it. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. I'll give them credit for casting. You see standing there on the far right, that's Robert De Niro as Fearless Leader. And in the middle there, that's the ever-funny Jason Alexander as Boris Badenov. I do not know the name of the actress playing Natasha there. But
that's sexist.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm sorry. I don't know who she was. She wasn't. They said, "Oh, De Niro Alexander." I didn't recognize her name. I hadn't seen her in other stuff, so I didn't remember her name. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I've seen that film. Yeah, I enjoyed that film, but yeah, it wasn't great. I think I enjoyed that film more just because I hadn't seen the original that much until after I'd seen that film.
There was a good chance of this, yeah.
So I wasn't like, oh, it's shit and over. I was like, okay, as a film, this isn't terrible. It was, I mean, at the time as well, because I was also younger, so I was like, it's not terrible. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Based on what you guys are saying, I'm glad I didn't see it because I grew up watching the original Rocky and Bullwinkle, so yeah.
Yeah, that's. I would say see it if you could turn your mind off and just enjoy some really, really stupid shit. You can enjoy it. That's Rene Russo. That was Natasha Fatale, by the way. Yeah, this is. I don't know. Sorry, I haven't seen Rene Russo in things. I don't know who that is. But anyway.
Fair enough.
She's famous for the Russo swerve.
Ha! But yeah, I will give them credit. I mean, I will give them credit for the ensemble cast they tried to make this thing work with. Paja Brewster, Janine Garofalo, John Goodman, David Allen Greer, Don Novello, John Polito, Carl Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Max Gronchick, Jonathan freaking Winters. But unfortunately, the movie was just a little too silly And it's one of the movies where you can enjoy it if you can turn your brain off, but if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it's goddamn ridiculous.
Fair enough.
So like apparently, the people can come from cartoon world into the real world just randomly, and apparently you can send a cartoon into the internet to kill them, and Robert De Niro's ridiculous performance as Fearless Leader, that was so over the top, it was hilarious.
To be fair, after I've gone back and saw the original Rocky and Bullwinkle after the film, to be fair, the original cartoons were batshit insane, weird.
This is true.
It doesn't make sense anyway, so...
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. This is usually a good indicator of... this is usually a pretty good indicator of whether a movie is going to be good or not. Because if your movie does not have the words National Lampoon in the title and you have resorted to casting Randy Quaid, it's probably not a good movie. But anyway, yeah, this is I will admit I thoroughly enjoy this movie for how ridiculous it is, and I've seen some of the original cartoons, but it's not a good movie. It was Robert De Niro doesn't talk about this movie much. There's a reason. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's that. Back to you, Marcus.
Fair enough. Fair enough, thank you, Jim. And let's go over to the Mole for his number 5.
That's my number 5. Yogi Bear, the movie.
I did not get the opportunity to see that, and I feel like that's a good thing.
I will go on record as saying I still have something about this. There's still something about this film I enjoy. The voices, even though it's like Dan Aykroyd and stuff like that, it's like it doesn't sound like Dan Aykroyd. It sounds like Yogi Bear. They've done a great job with the voices to the point that makes me say, why the fuck did you cast big-name stars? If you're going to make them sound like the cartoon, hire voice actors. But, regardless, the plot's a little, I don't know, silly. They concentrate too much on the Rangers' side story, too much, and some other problems with it, but it wasn't that great. However, I still enjoyed it, if that makes sense. That's why it's only number 5.
Mm.
I still enjoyed it, even though I had support. But at the same time, watching, I can understand why it's considered, or why people might consider this a terrible film, because it's not good. But that was my number 5. Back to Marcus.
Fair enough. Well, going to my number 4. Yeah, that's right, folks. I went there. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Where to begin? This movie is so bad. It is so bad. There's some decent things in it, but on the whole, it's a really bad movie. Now, that's not to say I don't enjoy the movie, but it's bad. And if you want to listen to us completely rip it apart, we do have a review of it up on the X-Pound as part of the Shadows Maw. Well, back then it was called Showtime, but it's there. And you can check that out. And you can find out why we think it's so terrible.
I will admit, that was almost on my list. Almost, but when I realized, but I was like, the actual show is that bad. It's actually really faithful to the point that I was like, I can't.
This is true.
I can't.
This is true. Yes. If you do go back and check out that review on Marcus Shadow Show. Currently called the Shadows Maw, formerly called Showtime, and never called Watchable.
Yes, it will be under Showtime. If you look at the title of the video, it'll say Showtime on it.
Yep. Give it a shot.
And this was back in our early days, so it will be long. I'm going to forewarn you people.
Our video's now long.
Yeah, it will be long, and it will have been recorded on Skype, so there will actually be visuals of just random images from the movie going by as we're talking about it. I think.
Indeed. And there was quite a few people for that review, which is why it was so long. But
yeah, we had like everybody in that one. I think everybody but Richter Hammer was in that review. I think.
Yeah, probably. So
we had the 3 of us, the Fallen Angel, Aeon Rider. I think even Anastasia Laserbeam hung around for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I don't think she was in that one.
Okay. Oh no, you know what? It wasn't Pew Pew. It was Queen of
Tiff.
Hearts was in that one.
Ah, right.
Forgetting
Fair
another
enough.
woman's name. He's so sexist.
And racist. Forgetting the black woman's name. What the hell, dude?
Uh-oh.
Speaking of the racist, we'll turn it over to Jim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
For some reason, my Firefox just closed out and says it needs to restart, so I'm going to be exiting the call.
Okay. Marcus, you're gonna switch your picture back to your logo.
Indeed. So go ahead and go with your number 4 while we're waiting for the mole to return.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's weird I can still hear you guys.
I'm debating. You know what? I'm gonna actually change up my list on the fly from the order I originally had it. I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, it still shows you in the call, Mole. That's why you can still hear us.
Well, obviously he's still on the call. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead because it's gonna be easier this way.
Okay.
Since we're already on the topic.
Well, I would say don't change. If you feel that it's a worse movie than the one you had there, I wouldn't do it.
But in retrospect, I'm realizing that yeah, it's a bad movie, but I think the other ones on my list are worse.
Fair enough.
I just put I mostly I put this at the front purely because it's the one I know the most about because it's Power Rangers, but really I think the others are worse. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, I agree, it is a bad movie by any measure. But as Mo pointed out, in retrospect, that season of the show is pretty bad too. So unfortunately, it is a faithful representation of that season of the show.
Except technically, it's not an adaptation of that season because it's the prequel to the season.
This is true, but effectively, what this movie was the problem with this movie is that they couldn't make it the movie they wanted to because originally when they filmed this, they had about twice as much footage as what's actually seen in the movie, and they had to cut it down. So a half a dozen plot threads got cut. They had to remove things like the plot thread where the returning Austin St. John and Amy Jo Johnson's characters, Jason and Kimberly, were going to be in a relationship. They cut a plot line involving a mermaid that was going to help them. They cut further scenes and plot lines where the Zeo Rangers were going to fight the Piranhatrons and were going to get their asses kicked, explaining why they needed to upgrade to turbo powers. There was a lot of stuff that was cut, and as a result, the movie felt a little disjointed. It was light on plot explanation for what the hell was going on, and it was just there to be a big budget spectacle and didn't really accomplish much.
And Kid Ranger for no reason. But I would argue, even if this had come afterwards, I would say this is still not a faithful representation of Power Rangers Turbo because it's actually better than that season.
Ouch.
Well, I'm sorry. You have evil Rangers. You have Zords that actually look good because bigger budget. I'm sorry. I really like the Zords in that movie. They looked awesome. You know, like I said, you have the evil Rangers, evil returning Rangers, which that just instantly makes it better. That's not saying that the movie's good by any stretch of the imagination, but it's better than Turbo was, and I liked parts of Turbo. I like the end of Turbo and stuff, but yeah.
Oh yeah, once they got the new cast, Turbo got a little bit better, but it was just the whole season was a mess in general, and yeah, the movie had a couple of good points like that, but let's see, Stephen Cardenas getting shafted for no reason, Kid Blue Ranger and Larigo. At least in the show, we only had to see Larigo in all of maybe 2 episodes.
I thought they did that because he was leaving the series, so they needed to replace him if this was going to be the prologue to Turbo.
Yes, except the rest of the cast left halfway through the season. So why?
Sure.
Stupid.
I'm back.
I mean, I agree. Welcome back. I agree. I would have preferred Rocky, but yeah.
Which, that was that Jim's number 4, Turbo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it is pretty shit. But like I said, to be fair, so's the actual show, Power Rangers.
Yeah. I decided to piggyback because I figured, what the hell?
It works. If it works, it works.
It works. All right. Now that's mine. So moving along.
So over to the mole. So Jim gives us the Lair of the Phoenix back. There we go. Over to the mole.
Boom.
Yeah.
The
I haven't
Last
seen it, but
Airbender.
yes.
To be fair, you need to have seen it in order to properly judge it. Because the reason it's only number 4, not higher up, is a lot of the story in it is actually accurate to the cartoon. I will put that out there.
Yes.
A lot of people don't give it credit for. However, they mispronounce the names. Like Aang is called Ong.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? The Sokka or Saka, however the fuck they pronounced him in the film, is really depressed, emo-ish, not the comic relief character, and various other things. It's like they did the story, and the story is accurate. It just doesn't have the heart of what it is, which means it's bad. It's bad enough that they won't want to do it again, but it's close. Pardon me, but it's close enough that they can't just reboot it because it's got enough accuracy, which that just kind of annoys me. But like I said, it's still worth checking out if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender. You may find some stuff in it to actually like if you watch it yourself and stuff, which is cool. It's just it's not great, if that makes sense, and it does do a lot of things wrong.
Right. Now, I haven't seen the movie either, but from what I've seen of it, and Mole, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but it seemed like the character of Aang in the movie was too serious. Like, when I saw the parts that I saw of it, I was like, that is not screaming, little kid having fun and not caring about anything.
And he was a little serious. However, I make the case with him. It wasn't a bad thing because there were times where he had to be serious enough, and all of the other things. He did a great job because the one playing Ong, the one playing Ong was basically he was good. He looked the part and could do all the actions and stuff that they needed him to do, and he was actually pretty good in the role. Yeah, he wasn't fully. I don't know what you would call it. He wouldn't be as fully comical as he should have been. However, it wasn't bad that he wasn't. It's like I've made the case before now. It's like we all enjoyed Batman Begins. Where was the detecting?
Right.
So yeah, that was my number 4. Was The Last Airbender.
Fair enough.
Back to Marcus.
So, my number 3.
It's Marcus's Playhouse.
Let's see, there it is. Yeah, that's my number 3. Scooby-Doo, the first one. Oh, movie was so bad. And minor spoiler alert of Scrappy as the villain, really? Really? Oh, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, that movie was horrible.
That movie was pretty bad. I thought it had enough good going on with it. I mean, I understand they did Scrappy as the villain because if you're a proper Scooby-Doo fan, you hate Scrappy.
Yeah, that's true. And I will give them credit. They cast it well. I believe they were the Scooby Gang.
I believe as well, though. Like I said, with that film, with how they did it and stuff, like the effects looked great.
Mm-hmm.
And the explanation with how they did it and the unmasking was great. They played with a lot of the tropes. They did do some things wrong. Like, I didn't like the fact Daphne now knew martial arts because she happened to be played by Buffy.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Because she's done roles where she didn't have to do that since then as well. So I don't believe she said, you must make me kick ass.
Yeah, I feel that with the characters, it almost felt like they recharacterized the characters based on the actors and actresses they got to play them, which I'm like, no, it should never be that way.
See, I thought the one playing Shaggy was amazing.
Yeah, he was the best. He was the best part of that movie.
But I also thought Fred and Velma were accurate to Fred and Velma. I just felt Daphne was the one that was really off.
Velma did a decent job. Freddie Prinze Jr. He did okay, but I don't know. I never got a Fred vibe from him. Not a full Fred vibe. At least that might have just been me, though.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Like I said, it's not a great film by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm sorry, the Cartoon Network made ones were much better.
Yeah. Well, I also felt, and Jim made a good point when we were going through and I was making my list and stuff like that. He said, these are supposed to be the top 5 worst adaptations. So was it a good adaptation? And my answer to that would be no. This was not a good Scooby-Doo adaptation. Regardless of the fact if it was a good movie or not, it was a terrible adaptation.
To be fair, this isn't supposed to be adaptations. We said movies based on kid shows. That doesn't necessarily mean adapted from them, because we have also said you took Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. That's not an adaptation. That's a continuation of the series.
True. Fair enough.
But yeah, they did some stuff right, I felt, and they did make Scooby-Doo cool again. But yeah, they did do a lot of stuff wrong with that film.
Yeah, they made Scooby look cool. I like the CG Scooby. I think he looks awesome. But
he does. And I love Shaggy's voice. He's amazing.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard's awesome.
To the point that when I was looking at it, I was like, I recognize him from somewhere, but I don't know where. And I heard the voice and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, he must be the one that voiced Shaggy in the cartoon or something like that. And then I was like, no, he wasn't. Oh my god, it's the dickhead from Scream. And that just blew my mind.
Although he voices Shaggy now.
Yeah, he voices Shaggy now.
Yeah, but
after that movie, he became the voice of Shaggy.
Yeah, but like I said, at the time.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Like he is awesome. I do like him. But over to Jim.
Alrighty, over to me. Let's see. Next on my list. Yes. Right, I did that one.
Come on, Jim. Take us under your wing.
I give you George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle.
I have to ask, do you have its sequel on your list?
I have not seen the sequel. I could not put it on the list.
The sequel is fucking...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing I've heard about the sequel that I will give it a monogram of credit for that I've heard is apparently in the opening sequence of the sequel, the narrator starts narrating and George swings in and the narrator goes, wait, who are you? Where's George? And the actor playing George in that movie, I don't remember who it is, but he basically turns to the narrator and basically says, oh, me knew George. Producers not afford to pay for Brendan Fraser.
Yep, which was slightly funny. Until they did that exact same joke for like an hour and a half of the film.
Oh, did they?
Mixed with everything else that was bad about the first film.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is based, of course, on the great cartoon, George of the Jungle, which was a funny cartoon that...
Watch out for that tree!
Yeah, which is based on a guy named George who lived in the jungle. A
Tarzan parody.
Yeah, he had his two girlfriends, Stella and Ursula. He had an ape named Ape, and they hung out in the jungle and did things. But he crashed into trees when he swung on things, and it was funny. This movie was just we need a vehicle for Brendan Fraser and a really bad puppeteered ape. Yeah, it was not a good movie.
It was not. That movie is pretty bad.
Yeah.
You now need to see the sequel just to see how... Because unfortunately that film is bad. The sequel actually makes it look like a masterpiece.
Yeah, we have the sequel to the library. Maybe I'll grab it at some point.
And all I'll hear over Skype will be, oh my god, my eyes! And his webcam will be on, and it's like he's looked at the Ark of the Covenant. Fuck you!
Yeah. But yeah, George of the Jungle. I just remember that being, taking the premise of basically taking it to ridiculous extremes, and it was just Brendan Fraser acting like an idiot for about an hour and 45 minutes.
I will say he was likable in the role.
He was, but...
Which I will say for almost any Brendan Fraser film.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser is a very likable guy. That doesn't necessarily make him good in movies.
It doesn't.
No, but most of his characters are likable.
The only time I will give Brendan Fraser credit for using his likability to actually be entertaining in a movie that I can recall, aside from The Mummy, obviously, because those are great movies. But
like an action.
Yeah, exactly. When he decided to play himself as an asshole movie star and then his own stunt double who punched him in the face. That was entertaining.
He was his own Mizdow.
He was.
But yeah, I do will say I did like. I always liked Brendan Fraser. I thought it's a shame he just disappeared, or at least he's not in enough stuff now, probably because he's older. Like at the time when he was overly popular, I don't know if Marcus would agree on this or not, but at the time when he was overly popular and there was talks of Hollywood doing a Dragon Ball American film, I wanted him for Goku.
That would have worked. I could have seen.
He has that childlike charm of Goku. I was like,
yeah, that boyish charm. Yeah.
Yeah, like you couldn't just see him like just eating.
Yeah.
Poor Judge.
And if you want to see a great movie with Brendan Fraser that takes full advantage of that boyish charm and everything, see the movie Blast from the Past.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Or go watch Bedazzled. That movie is hilarious.
Oh, Bedazzled is awesome.
I love that movie.
I have not seen that movie, but it looked like a good movie.
With Elizabeth Hurley as the devil?
Yes, I'm familiar with who's in it and what the premise is. I just haven't seen it.
Oh,
yeah, that film
was likable in that, too. He did a great job with that movie.
Yeah, which, that says it all about, I can't believe we're actually talking about Brendan Fraser in such great detail.
Why not? He's a great guy.
He is, but it's like, that says it all about Brendan Fraser. Even in a film that's complete shit, like George of the Jungle, that Jim's got on his list, you still walk away saying, you know, I liked Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, you did.
And that's why he was marketable, and that's why he was popular, and he's filthy stinking rich.
Yeah, pretty much. And you're Bedazzled. Him with Elizabeth Hurley is good. But my blast from the past, I counter your Elizabeth Hurley with Christopher Walken.
Ha.
As Brendan Fraser's dad.
Yep, I like that. I think I've seen Blast. I think I've seen that.
I will say, yeah, it's a great movie. Basically, Christopher Walken and his wife, played by, I don't remember the actress, but I think she's the mom from Seventh Heaven, and basically they live in the 50s, and basically they go into this big, ridiculously massive bunker that Christopher Walken built because he's fucking paranoid about the nuclear apocalypse, and they go hide in the bunker when a plane crashes in their backyard, and they think it's the apocalypse, and Brendan Fraser is born in the bunker, and they live with her there for I think it's 35 years, because that's how long the nuclear fallout would be around. And so they raise Brendan Fraser in there as if it's the 50s for like 35 years, and then they come back into what was at the time the modern world. It was in like 2005 or 6, I think the movie came out.
Yeah.
And when they come out to what is effectively the modern world now, and so you've got Brendan Fraser with his perfect boyish manners and good charms and 50s sensibilities interacting with the modern world.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of awesome.
Which, yeah, like I said, that film was pretty cool. I will say you can't compare Christopher Walken now to Elizabeth Hurley and Bedazzled, because Christopher Walken was doing what he does best of being Christopher Walken. Elizabeth Hurley was doing what she does best of being extremely sexy.
True.
Damn right.
You can't compare the two, because it depends on whether or not you want to laugh or get an erection.
Elizabeth Hurley in a tight red dress with a fucking snake around her neck. It's like...
Yeah. But of course Elizabeth Hurley, she's programmed to be sexy. She's a fembot, lest we forget the Austin Powers series.
Yeah, which I will say, yeah, I have seen that film, A Blast from the Past. It was funny, because to me, that was almost a twist, i.e. reversal of roles from Pleasantville.
It was. It was a people from our world went into the 50s world. Yeah, that was great. That was a good movie, too.
It's one of those films, everyone I know, when you say Tobey Maguire, they only know Spider-Man. But it's like, come on, he's been in Seabiscuit, he was okay in that. He was awesome in Pleasantville.
Pleasantville's a great movie.
It was. Marcus should check that film out.
Yes, but let's all really be perfectly honest. The best part of Pleasantville is Don Knotts.
I thought the best part of Pleasantville was... Oh, what the hell? The girl from Legally Blonde and stuff.
She was good, too.
She's like Brendan Fraser. No matter what she's in, she's likable.
Yeah, that's true.
Even when she's in Friends and she's a complete slut and an evil character, you still like her, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Wait, we're getting way off topic. Let's get back into the movies here. That was George of the Jungle. Brendan Fraser was likable, but it was not a good movie. End of story.
It was.
Fair enough. Over to the
back to Marcus.
Yep. For my number 3, I have chosen something, and I will say, please, to the people in this video, still remember the rules. And he said that because I know it's been reviewed elsewhere. That's my number 3.
Yeah.
Because I loved the original Tom and Jerry. I loved everything about the original Tom and Jerry. I loved the silent slapstick nature of it. I loved just those two trying to catch each other, and it was sort of like a Roadrunner-ish thing of, oh, will Tom ever catch Jerry? And you never kind of... Sometimes you actually want him to catch Jerry, because, spoiler alert, Jerry's sort of a dick. But a lot of times Jerry's a dick. But it's a case of this film, it removed the slapstick fights between the two of them by making them team up, and removed the silent film apart by making them speak. It's like none of this was Tom and Jerry. That was horrible. Instead, it was those two trying to stop that blonde girl from having her evil step-parents or proper parents trying to steal all her money. It's not a Tom and Jerry script. It's not Tom and Jerry. It's fucking stupid. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if you guys had seen that film or not.
I don't think I have.
Fair enough.
I have not, but fair enough. It seems like it's almost like what Michael Bay did with Transformers, where they had Tom and Jerry in there, but they focused it more on the human characters, which I'm like, Tom and Jerry's never been about the human characters.
No. To be fair, what Michael Bay did was use the humans to get the audience. And then I had no problems with the girl being a human character. She was actually likable. However, what Michael Bay did was still tell the story of the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. They were still soldiers. They were still doing war. What this did was take everything you know about Tom and Jerry and just remove it and just use the two characters doing something else. This would be like if Michael Bay had made Transformers and instead it'd been like, I don't know, it'd been like 5 days of summer, whatever it was called, but with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee sat down having conversations about everyday life. It would be extremely stupid.
Fair enough.
You don't want to see that.
True.
Oh, during the battle, it turned out Bumblebee lost his sight. Oh, really? Yeah, so now instead Transformers is going to be Optimus Prime trying to help out Bumblebee in Transformers, The Blind Side. Who'd watch this?
There you go. Transformers Blind of the Moon.
Yep, but more on horrible Transformer films later.
Uh-oh. Well, my number 2.
Transformers Revenge of the Blind.
There you go. That's my number 2, The Flintstones. I understand some people like it. I think Mole likes this movie. I don't. John Goodman was probably the best part, probably the only good part of this movie. And don't get me wrong, I like the actors that were cast in this movie. They're all good actors. Did not like them in these roles.
I mentioned I like it, but I also admitted to you I know it's bad. I liked the one playing Fred. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
The villains were likable. And I'm sorry, Barney was pretty spot on. I kind of liked Barney.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, plus Dino looked awesome. All the
Dino
dinosaurs
did look awesome.
The look looked great.
Yeah, the look was good.
Fuck to Rosie O'Donnell as Betty, who's supposed to be Barney's attractive, slim, gorgeous wife.
Yeah.
What?
I think A, because she was a hot commodity at that point in time. You know, she was very popular. And B, they were trying to make it more of a comedy. So they're like, well, she's a comedic actress. We'll bring her in. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No, you don't take someone like Betty and make her the most obnoxious woman on the planet. That's just going the exact wrong direction.
It is. Because Betty's always really nice. It's like, in the sequel, they got the casting better for everyone except Fred and Barney, if that makes sense. Everyone else is cast brilliantly in the second one. And it's slightly better, but yeah, the first one is still a piece of shit. It's still enjoyable, but it's shit, I can admit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just like you said, the look was good. John Goodman was good. Moranis, he's good in most of the stuff he does. I think they could have done better for Barney, but he did an okay job. But the rest of it was just, it wasn't Flintstones. I'm like, no, it's just you take backdrop. It's like it felt to me kind of like what the Tom and Jerry movie felt like to you. It's like they put the Flintstones in, they had the backdrop, but they removed everything about it that made Flintstones the Flintstones. No,
I
it's
still
no.
make the case they didn't. Because you're still forgetting this. If it was the Flintstones, they still had rock puns, they still had dinosaurs, they still had using animals in new ways. They still had all the stuff you loved about Flintstones, just with a different story. Literally, the Tom and Jerry took everything about them. The slapstick, the fight between the two, the fact they don't speak. It took all of that and removed it. That is way
Fair
worse.
True.
However, this is still bad.
Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like John Goodman as Fred Flintstone, and Rick Moranis as Barney was pretty good, but it wasn't a good movie.
No.
It felt like it captured the aesthetic of the Flintstones, but not the spirit.
Yep. Exactly. Fair enough. Jim, you may continue speaking. I tried to figure out how to
does
get.
not make one intelligent.
All right, well, moving along, as soon as we get the Shadow's Maw back over there.
Yeah, I was looking for the image. Boom.
Okay. Well, moving along, the next item on my list, and this needed to be mentioned. I give the Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget the movie, also known as Ferris Bueller prefers that dick that wouldn't give her a baby on Sex and the City. Thank you.
That's right, he was on Sex and the City, wasn't he? I forgot about that.
He was. He played
Yes,
the
yes,
one
he was.
going out. He was the one going out with Charlotte, and basically when she couldn't get pregnant, his joke that he did as a practical joke was to give her a paper baby to say, "Look, see, I can give you a baby. Ha ha ha! Isn't this funny? Because you're not going to have a real baby." That dude was a dick. He was a mama's boy, and he was a dick. And that's right, people. I'm a Sex and the City guy.
Fair enough.
I think Jim's speech.
Yeah, so
Yeah. You rendered Jim speechless.
I was running speechless. But yeah, Inspector Gadget, well, I'll give the credit a couple of things were okay. The gadgets looked really good, the effects were really good. And I did like the story where he was an ordinary guy who just wanted to help people and he couldn't be a coward thing, but he was really thinking of helping people and he got the opportunity by being part of this program. That was kind of cool. I give him credit for that. I mean, Michelle Trachtenberg was a very good choice for Penny. I give her credit for that. She was a good Penny. Yep. She was a good Penny, but she and Brain didn't do as much as they should have, and Gadget's supposed to be funny and bumbling, and instead he was bumbling because he was new and he didn't know how the gadgets worked, which I think kind of hurt that aesthetic. And oh dear God, D.L. Hughley has the fucking car.
Yep.
D.L. Hughley is a funny dude. I didn't even believe D.L. Hughley could be a funny talking car. Inspector Gadget does not have a talking fucking car.
No, he didn't. I didn't like the car, and like you said, he's supposed to be a bumbling idiot because he always pulls out the wrong gadget. It's not that he doesn't know what his gadgets do. It's that he can't ever pull the right one out. And this one, like you said, it was because he didn't know what his gadgets did or, like how to, he didn't know what each of the gadgets did. He was like, I'm going to use this. And it's like he didn't read the instruction manual, whereas in the cartoon, it's not that he didn't read the instruction manual. He's just that ditzy with calling out the wrong gadgets.
Yeah.
Plus, on this, wasn't it also apparently his wires were crossed or something? So it wasn't that he was calling out the wrong thing, like you mentioned. He wasn't going go gadget and the wrong thing coming out. It was just like an error within himself, not because he was bumbling, which was stupid.
Mm-hmm. No, also, that was the sequel.
Oh, ironically, the sequel had a worse Inspector Gadget, but
it did. Yeah.
However, I will say that cover, that's the cover for the film. Does anyone else see a big problem here? You can see fucking Dr. Claw's face.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
They call him Dr. Claw because all you ever see is his hand.
Yeah, or his claw.
Which credit for in the second movie, they had a much worse Inspector Gadget, no offense to French Stewart, but they did a lot of other shit right. Penny and Brain were doing the work, Inspector Gadget put on a trench coat and a hat and stayed in the shadows. Mm-hmm. They actually fixed quite a few things in the sequel.
Which I will also say, technically, Dr. Claw didn't have a claw either. He had a giant metal gauntlet that was on his hand.
Yeah, he
and
was
his
just
cat.
called
Where
out.
was his? Where was his cat?
Yeah.
He had a cat. He had a white cat that looked like Blofeld's cat.
Yeah,
He
I
did
wanted
have a
this cat.
cat.
I wanted this cat to be a main character because you always ever saw him with his cat. It was just him and his cat interacting and his minions via intercom thing.
Right.
Also, who remembers the weird thing of the clone of Inspector Gadget? Because I have to say, let's never put the awesomeness that is Matthew Broderick with fake teeth going.
Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous. How and why Broderick agreed to that, I'll never know. That was unnecessary as all hell.
I will say, poor Matthew Broderick. He's been in this, and he's been in the first American Godzilla film.
Ugh.
It's like when it comes to Matthew Broderick, I'm glad people will look at him and still say that's Ferris Bueller. I'm glad those films haven't hurt him enough that they've taken away Ferris Bueller.
Yep.
And that
Very
Super
true.
Bowl advert with him reprising his role as Ferris Bueller was awesome.
It was.
It's not like Matthew Broderick is bad. He's actually a really good actor. It's just he's gotten into some really shit projects and some really shit roles.
He has.
I like Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick's a good guy. It was just a bad project, unfortunately. It happens.
Yeah. Yep.
And in fact, I'd like to count. In fact, Mo, can you see my picture?
I can see your picture.
Right-hand side, look at the words, and look directly at the picture call. He's holding the cat.
He is, but I said, why wasn't his cat a main character, as in always in the scenes with him? Because, like I mentioned in the cartoon, he only ever was in a room with his cat, and he was speaking to his minions via intercom. He never spoke or hung out with them. He was always with just his cat.
True.
Also, his cat's a different colour. His cat's meant to be grey.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, you know you're dealing with a bad Dr. Claw when his chief scientist is and a fucking dick. Jesus Christ. I will give credit to his henchman Sykes though. Sykes was actually funny.
Yeah, I remember that film as not being good either.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to put that on my list. I didn't, but I almost wanted to.
Yeah, it was not a good film.
Mm-mm.
Moving along.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. Moving on to Mole.
This next one, I assume Marcus and Jim will remain completely quiet due to the fact they probably haven't seen the original. However, being from the UK, I kind of had to put this on my list because fuck this movie.
Thunderbirds are go.
Seriously, fuck this movie. The original Thunderbirds, for those who don't know, was like a secret government agent of spies and stuff who lived on a secret island. It was all puppets and stuff cool. This film, it's about their offspring because they get captured and shit, taking out. It's basically Spy Kids with Thunderbird vehicles. It's like, no, this isn't Thunderbirds. It doesn't even have the main Thunderbirds in it. What the hell? The vehicles are not what make Thunderbirds Thunderbirds. The characters are like brains and stuff. And it's like, no. Why would you do this? Why would you make a film about the Thunderbirds and not have the Thunderbirds in it? Thank you.
Fair enough. Yeah, I had heard that movie was kind of bad.
Yeah. The only reason I mentioned that for you two would be quiet. I know you. I don't think you guys had seen Thunderbirds to really get how much that annoyed me.
Right. No. Jim, I'm assuming you haven't seen Thunderbirds.
Actually, he might have.
I have not.
Which, yeah, they're bringing Thunderbirds back in this year, apparently. It's all going to be CGI, because fuck the people who decided to do that. Because, I'm sorry, when they did that with Captain Scarlet and stuff, I'm sorry, I like the puppets. The puppets give it an original and unique look to it. Doing it CGI takes that away from it.
Yeah, you can't take something that was originally meant to be puppets, or that was originally puppets, and make it CGI. It'd be like taking the Muppets and making them all CGI. It wouldn't be the Muppets.
Yep. It's like, I believe the original creator of this film, the original creator of Thunderbirds itself did go on record as mentioning something to do with that film, being like how much he hated it. I can't remember what he said. I could always look it up, I suppose, but he mentioned how much of that film should not have existed, and that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
'Cause even with like the horrible 80s Turtles cartoon and stuff like that, at least the original people will stay quiet. But when you got the original people coming out and basically being like, "Yeah, fuck you for making this film."
Yeah. That is pretty bad. All right, so we're up to the number ones, the worst of the worst in our opinions. And my number one worst movie based on a children's property, children's TV show. Yeah, I went there.
Oh, I was going to say I did look it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
The original series creator, Jerry Anderson, disliked the film and went on record as saying, "This is the biggest load of crap I have ever seen in my entire life." And I'm not ad-libbing. That was his exact quote. "This is the biggest load of crap I've seen in my entire life."
Fair enough.
But back to Marcus.
Yes,
I realized I was interrupting you, my bad.
That's fine. But yes, I went with Masters of the Universe because what the fuck? Just what the fuck? Like, you know, with modern movies, people have coined the term Nolanizing for meaning going dark for the sake of being dark. Yeah, this movie did it first, and it was not good.
To be fair, Nolanizing is meant to be taking a property and making it overly realistic. Not just the dark factor.
This movie still did it first, and not good. Oh my god, this was probably, I would imagine, the first movie that probably did that, at least in my memories. I grew up watching He-Man and Masters of the Universe because 80s kid. And when I heard they were making a movie, I was like, oh, that's going to be awesome. And then I saw they had cast Dolph Lundgren. I'm like, okay, he probably can't speak very much, but you know, he was big at the time, and I liked Dolph Lundgren. I thought he was kind of cool, and I was like, I could totally see him as He-Man. That'll be awesome. And then they showed the look, you know, just him in the He-Man suit, and I was like, okay, it's a little dark, but he looks like He-Man. I can buy that. And then I saw the movie. Yeah. For those who've seen He-Man, you remember how Eternia was bright and colorful? Even the deadly plants were bright and colorful? Yeah. Well, the movie version is fucking post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's just, it's needlessly dark and brooding. And then, oh, by the way, did you like Eternia? Sorry, it takes place on Earth. What? You're taking He-Man out of Eternia? Really? They took him and put him in, like, fucking Boston. So you thought they made Eternia dark? Yeah, can you imagine, like, 1980s, like, crime-ridden Boston with He-Man? No. It was so fucking terrible. Like, one of the first things they do when they go to Earth is they go to get food because they're hungry, so they go and they get a bucket of ribs. And Man at Arms apparently has been to Earth before or whatever and knows like some of the Earth customs. They're eating food, and Tila's like, you know, this meat's pretty good. What are these little white sticks that they're on? And Man at Arms turns around to her and goes, those are rib bones. It's like, you don't know what ribs are. What? No, it's stupid.
Yep, which
it was so bad.
I will say it did have going for it. Courtney Cox was good in the film.
Yep.
Skeletor looked good.
Yeah, I loved Frank Langella as Skeletor. He was the best part of that movie. Despite the fact he wasn't wearing the armor, he had the robes, but I thought Skeletor looked awesome in the dark purple robes. I was like, that's cool.
However, I will have to still make the case this was not Nolanizing stuff.
Fair enough.
Because, yeah, who remembers in The Dark Knight when Batman goes to advice and it's the guy from Turbo, a Power Rangers movie?
Mm-hmm.
Power Rangers, a Turbo movie, Larago. He literally looks like the guy on this that had to carry the key.
Yeah.
I love the fact Power Rangers, a Turbo movie, looked at that and thought, you know, this film's really great. Let's include that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too is they made this so not He-Man and so not Eternia. Yet the one original character they decided to do is the one original character that looks like he would fit within Masters of the Universe. I'm like, that makes sense. I didn't like the character, but
my main problem with him, he was a bumbling idiot that wanted to help him out and help him. Just make it Orko.
Yeah, yeah.
That could have been. They could, and he would have looked better because you wouldn't see his face.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Gwildor was just no. He was better than Larago, but no. Cosmic key and stuff. That's why they went to Earth. I'm just like, why did you have to incorporate Earth? Why could you just made it on Eternia?
Yep. My only guess is based on the time that film came out is they might not have had the budget to make Eternia look like Eternia.
True, but you didn't have to totally make it Eternia. I mean, even if they'd have gone more realistic, like with the way they had it in that movie, but made it Eternia instead of Earth, it would have been 10 times better, and it would have looked okay. If they just like shot like in some jungle somewhere, there you go. There's your Eternia.
Yeah, it should have been shot like Endor, the space, or Tatooine, or something like that. Not 80s Street. I get the sense this film may have blown all of its budget on getting if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was a horrible He-Man, but I still make the case he was a worse Punisher.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I do have to give this movie credit for, despite the fact that I think the palette is just way too dark, the color palette, the characters at least look like the characters. He-Man looks like He-Man. Man-at-Arms, they got his armor down to the detail, which I was kind of impressed by. And like, Teela didn't look quite like Teela from the cartoon, but she looks like she'd be Teela in this universe. You know, like, as we said, Skeletor looked awesome. So yeah, the characters that they had from He-Man actually looked like those characters from the cartoon, so I have to give them credit for that.
No, we lost Jim.
We lost Jim?
Yeah, Jim, I'm right here.
Oh, okay, on my end, I see my box, and I see my... Oh, I see what's happening. It was because your box has turned all black, so it's blended into Marcus's picture on my end. My bad.
Okay, then.
Fair enough. Yeah, Jim, do you have anything to say about Masters of the Universe?
I have not seen the cartoon or the film. I will not comment.
If you see the cartoon, I highly recommend you check out the 2003 cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Also, the other thing they did wrong, look at that image I have of Masters of the Universe, the movie. Do you notice what's in He-Man's right hand?
A giant-ass sword.
That's in his... Oh, is it flip? Oh, it is... No, the sword's in his left hand.
No,
in his right hand.
The sword is in his right hand. Because look at where the text is. Look, if you were like him, he's got in his hand. He has like it looks like a big black sword. It might just be because the picture's shorter.
If you have it flipped, no, in his left hand it's a gun. It's a rifle. The sword is the bright silver thing in his left hand.
Fair enough. That could also be a rifle. I'm saying on my end, because the picture's smaller on the hangout, it looks like it could just be a big sword, big black sword.
Yeah, it's him holding a laser rifle. I'm like, He-Man doesn't use guns. He doesn't need it. He's got the sword of power. If anyone has ever watched the TV show, he never uses a gun. He could. He knows how to use them. He just doesn't. You never see him with a gun. And I'm like, they're like, we're going to give him a gun. I'm like, he's He-Man. He doesn't need a gun.
Doesn't he?
Considering his body can shrug off lasers. No, he doesn't.
Doesn't he? No, he doesn't. I also have a problem with the name of the film.
Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, wasn't the original called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
Yes.
Shouldn't that be the name of the film? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Not just Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, you would think so. I think they were trying to streamline it. I'm okay with it, but yeah, it should have been called He-Man.
I would have tolerated it if they streamlined it to He-Man. Because he's the main character. He's the big one on the poster, yet he's not in the name. That's the one part they removed from the name.
Because they didn't focus it on He-Man. And that's another problem is the cartoon is He-Man. It focuses on He-Man, and the movie, not at all.
I thought they focused on him a bit.
Not really. He happened to be the main character, but he wasn't the focus of the movie. And also, they didn't give him his transformation, which, okay, budgetary reasons I can understand, but it's like, he's He-Man for the entire movie. I'm like, no, you need to have him as Prince Adam. Come on. But of course, they cast Dolph Lundgren, who probably couldn't speak English very well, so you can't really have him be Prince Adam. because that would be even more stupid.
Should have dubbed him.
There you go.
Hey, it works for like Ray Park and stuff.
True. But yeah, that's my number one. Oh, it's such a bad movie.
that is a pretty bad film.
Over to Jim for his number one.
All right, time for the final movie of the evening.
No, it's not. You dick.
I thought you did. Weren't you first in the round? I thought you did the.
No, it goes Marcus, you, me.
Okay, I thought Thunderbirds was your.
That's my number two.
Okay, sorry. My apologies. I got confused. Well then, the number one movie on my list because and you two might not have any comment on this because I'm not sure either of you have seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just bring a picture up here. I give you Digimon the movie.
I own that film.
Oh, so you know.
Yes. It's pretty bad where I say the best part of that movie was Angela Anaconda introducing it in the cinema.
Yes, exactly. Jesus Christ. This movie was a clusterfuck, the likes of which I have never seen. It's basically, as you might notice from this poster, we apparently said we were going to make a movie. It's going to feature the cast from both Season 1 and 2, because obviously the Season 2 are the cast in the center there with the Digimon, and the Season 1 characters are shown off in those nice little pictures on the side, which is fair enough. The problem was that we apparently decided we were going to partially retell part of Season 1 and like have several sections of the movie that are not directly connected, like here's part of Season 1. Then we're going to jump up to this part of Season 1 later on, and then we're jumping to this part of Season 2, and they're going to somehow be tangentially connected, and there's going to be some evil Digimon or something. It was a fucking mess.
Isn't that because it was 2 or 3 Japanese films shoved into?
That's exactly why, because it was 3 different Japanese Digimon movies, and the American producers was like, we don't have the budget for that. Fuck it, one movie.
Which I will say, it was pretty cool how they got the animation to look exactly like Mickey Mouse. Unfortunately, it was more Steamboat Mickey, but still, no one's perfect.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the overall tone in this entire thing was terrible. Because the tone, I love Season 1 and 2 of Digimon. I love that show. And the fact of the matter is, it's because that show has a great tone. Yes, there's drama. There's, about, Digimon are getting hurt. Can they stop the darkness? But there's also the heartwarming moments of the Digidestined being friends together, the Digidestined going on adventures, that spirit of, things are going to turn out good in the end. Hell, the entire epilogue of Season 2 brought that entire message home as being the message of the series. This movie decided, no, we don't need any of that crap. We need more big-ass Digimon fights and a lot of really dark palettes and a really dark tones, and overall it's just going to be constant action, fucked up animation, action. Oh, here's a weird ass fucking color palette going on over here. I don't know what this movie was. This was a terror, because I was making a Digimon. I'm like, oh, there's a movie. I didn't see this in the theater, but I watched this on either VHS or DVD. Some point or other, I watched this after the fact, and I watched this, and I'm like, this isn't Digimon. I mean, okay, yes, the characters are there, but this, I don't know what this is, but it's not Digimon.
Yep, I liked Digimon when it first came out. I loved series. I didn't like the new cast from Series 2 onwards, but I liked Series 1. And I thought I'd watch the film. I went to see the film in the cinema. I bought it on VHS tape. I own it now on DVD because my nephew wanted to see it, and we don't have a VHS player anymore. But yeah, that film was terrible.
That was not a good movie. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, no. Just no. The one thing I will give credit to this movie for, one solitary thing. That was the creation of Omnimon, because Omnimon is a badass Digimon.
What was the plot of this movie? Because I might have actually seen this on TV.
Basically, it was like this. It was 3 separate Digimon movies shoved into one, 2 of which were Season 1 movies, 1 of which was a Season 2 movie.
And as a result, it had no plot.
Pretty much, yeah. They tried to tangentially connect it, and it really didn't work. Unfortunately, it was just no. But hang on a minute here. Digimon. I'm
actually going to read it off of Wikipedia.
I'm not going to read it off. I'm just going to skim it so I can summarize. Let's see. So the Angela Anaconda opening was awesome. Then we had 8 years ago where we showed it to basically a scene of the Digidestined, or at least a couple of them as kids, the original Digidestined, and shit that happened when they first ran into shit from years ago because somehow there was a Koromon that became Greymon and fought a bird Digimon in their neighborhood, which that was actually from the show. I'll give them that much. That part was from the show. Then we have 4 years later, Digidestined left Digital World, Transmission, Ultimate Evolution that stopped the Digimon attacking whatever, I don't know, Warp Digivolve and Diaboromon. I don't know. Yeah, that's random. I don't know. They DNA Warp Greymon and Metal Kuruma and DNA Digivolve to Omnimon, which was badass. That was the one good scene. And they take down this random evil Digimon. The first one was we see Digimon fighting in their neighborhood. Second one was now the Digimon are fighting. Now the Digidestins are grown up and are the Digidestined, and they're fighting some evil Digimon, and there was really very little connection to the TV series and how that fit into continuity. And then we had present day, which was, now we're going to go to the Season 2 cast, and the Season 1 cast are all grown up. And the Season 2 cast are, what are they trying to do here? I don't know. They're fighting some evil Digimon. I don't know what the plot even is here. It really didn't have one.
Yeah, it didn't have one, which I will say, for people watching as well, we were allowed Digimon because even though it started as a game, it was the LCD games, which they don't have stories or anything like that to adapt, so that would be allowed. Like we're allowing like Transformers and stuff like toy lines, but we're not allowing Batman or Turtles or something because they started as comics. Just in case people are watching this list and thinking, where's Turtles 3 or something like that? Or where's the Michael Bay turtle? As Marcus likes to call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yes, that was my number one, the terrible Digimon movie.
Fair enough. To round things out, over to the hole with the mole.
Thank you. My number one is the worst Transformers movie ever made. Do not adjust your sets. I mean the animated movie.
Oh!
It's the movie that kills Optimus Prime,
replaces him... He died for your sins!
Shut up. Replace it... Don't break rules. But yeah, replaces it with essentially not Optimus Prime. Rodimus Prime. I don't give a shit about Rodimus. Then they kill off Megatron and can't come up with a new villain, so they just say, fuck it, let's just repackage him as Galvatron, who was shit. Marcus mentions, well, don't you hate it in Transformers, like he mentioned at the beginning of the review, where they just shit all over your main character, your favourite character, and then kill him off? I'm a Starscream fan. They literally made him a complete bitch, then killed him in like 2 seconds. What the fuck? Yeah, the song You Got the Touch is kind of cool, but all this film did was kill off and get rid of all the Transformers you love, replace them with a load of characters you don't give a shit about, which would then lead into Series 3, which would effectively continue this trend of all Decepticons looking like Galvatron and shit like that, and just completely, it killed G1. This is the downfall of G1. This film is so bad, it killed the series it's based on. Digimon the movie, it was fucking terrible, but you still got cartoons afterwards. The Michael Bay ones, Transformers, are kind of bad, but you still get decent Transformers stuff afterwards. This killed Transformers until years later when they made Beast Wars. That's how horrible this film is.
Except after this, they still had a season and a half of G1, and then that went away, and then like the year after they came out with the new series.
After this, they had Season 3, which bombed royally, and was really losing ratings because of the decisions they made in this film, and then it led to the decline. And then Series 4, they only released it because they were going to make a Series 4, realized how shit it had been with Season 3, so they only made like 4 episodes because they were trying to bring Optimus Prime back, but it was too late.
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't just the decisions that were made in this movie that made Season 3 bomb. The animation went down the shitter. It's complete crap compared to what came before it, and just
it kind of is. But I would make the case it's like you can, even though we know it was the AOL decision to just sell the company, we still know the decline of quality of WCW was really Russo, maybe just before that, and you can see the decline, so you could argue that would be the point. Like, I mean, obviously the AOL thing still would have mattered, but this is literally, who thought it was a great idea to make us pay money to go see a film where you get rid of everyone we give a shit about, and then introduce new characters like a guy whose head flips around and only talks in TV speak, which Transformer fans will then turn and say, oh, but what about Bumblebee on the Michael Bay film? Oh, they make him talk with a radio. How pathetic is that? How is this any fucking different with the guy talking with TV talk? It was fucking horrible. This is like one of the worst things ever that Transformers has made.
Fair enough. I like the movie. I don't like Hot Rod. You know, I don't like some of the decisions they made, like the killing Optimus Prime and whatnot. But I still thought it was a good movie. But that's fair enough. I could see your points, and yeah, they're valid points.
Agreed.
Jim, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. There's a valid points. Like I said, I have not seen this movie, and I didn't really watch Gen 1. It was a little bit before my time. But
you're like a year younger than me.
Okay, I just didn't watch it then. But yeah, I never really watched that show. But you know, I liked the from a little bit I've seen for Gen 1 here and there. It seems like it was a good show. Honestly, I've always heard people kind of revere this movie, so it was interesting to hear you kind of tear it up like that. But
yeah, a load of people seem to like this film because whenever they talk about it, they always seem to put on, in my opinion, nostalgia goggles. Like, oh my god, this was so awesome! Wow. But if you go and watch it, it's not good. It's really not good. If you go back and watch it now, you realize it's not good. And also the mistakes it did just pissed me off even as a child then. That just annoyed me.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yep, it's even worse because Transformers was really popular at the time. How the hell do you think kids felt that Christmas? They got a load of Transformer figures for that series they loved so much, and then they turn around and within a year they turn around and say, yeah, you know all those characters you got for Christmas, kids? Like that Optimus Prime you loved so much? Gone. Oh, you got Starscream? Gone. It's like, wait, what? Oh, you got Megatron? Sorry, he's been repackaged. What? No. That's horrible.
Yep, when the movie first aired, the company got a lot of angry letters from like parents and stuff saying that when their kids watched the movie, they all like cried when Prime died and stuff. They're like, how could you do that to our kids? It's like, you know, and I'll admit that was probably something they shouldn't have done, but at the same time I can understand why, because their logic was coming from the business, a more business sided standpoint of, this was, as we all know, this was originally, Transformers, the show was originally made to sell Transformers the toys. And so, like, well, we want to come up with a new toy line, but we have to get the kids, you know, interested in the toy line. So, you know, in this movie, why don't we introduce a lot of the toys of the new toy line and get them interested in the toy line? You know, they kind of did it wrong.
They did.
That was not the way to get, and it's not the way to get people interested in the toy line, but also, I think, at least on the corporate side of the Transformers, I keep forgetting who made the toys. Was it Hasbro? Yeah. I think on the corporate side of Hasbro, they didn't realize how much Transformers was revered by the kids, how popular it was, and how involved the kids and the fans of Transformers were with Transformers. To them, it was just some little rinky-dink show that was basically an extended toy commercial for their toy line that was making the money. They didn't understand why it was making the money. And so then they did this. And it's like I said, on one hand, I love the movie. I think it's got high production value. And I'm sorry, Leonard Nimoy and Orson Welles did fucking amazing. Robert Stack, come on.
Yeah, but Leonard Nimoy's literally playing a repackaged Megatron. If he'd been an original character, that would have been great, because Leonard Nimoy is great. Yeah. Hearing him voice Megatron, essentially, even though I'm going to say Galvatron, but him voicing different coloured Megatron is like, fuck off. I prefer the Megatron voice.
See, I think the design of Galvatron was fine. I think if in the movie, if they hadn't had him literally be a redesign of Megatron, where Unicron just scans him and then gives him a new body and a new personality and stuff like that, if they'd have made him his own character after like the demise of Megatron, I think that would have made the character better. But still, killing off the characters like that was not the way to do it.
Yeah, especially, like I said, Optimus Prime dies like a hero. My favorite has always been Starscream. He died like a bitch.
Yeah.
I would put it to you, Jetfire's death in the Revenge of the Fallen, at least his death meant something because it helped Optimus overcome the villain. Starscream meant fuck all.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with them killing off Jetfire or anything like that. What I had a problem with was, A, they made him fucking old, which, I'm sorry, Jetfire's not that old. He's supposed to be a soldier, not some scholar. So, no, that was fucking stupid. I liked his old form.
They were going for war vet.
Yeah, which is fine. I liked his alt form. He was like a Blackbird, which was fucking awesome. And as I've said before with Transformers 2 Revenge of the Fallen, given the story they were going with and how they wanted to use Jetfire, it made sense he'd be that old. I still didn't like it.
Yeah, I understand. It was just, like I said, for me with Starscream, his death was pointless. And I'm sorry, Starscream, we saw him in the actual series get a whole group of those war cons and stuff. He got all of the tanks and stuff, and he made an army, and he was a great leader. This one, he's so fucking out of character with a crown and like, haha, hail me, and then dies like a bitch. It's like, that's way more of a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. I like the whole crown thing, but yeah, how he died. I think they were thinking, they had this great character that fans liked, but fans also were like, when is Starscream going to get his comeuppance? When is Megatron gonna, when is he gonna take over Megatron, and when is Megatron just gonna be like, enough is enough, and just fucking off him? And they were like, well, the fans want this, let's give it to him. And they gave us both things of he takes over when Megatron is gone, which is something exactly what he would do. And then Galvatron comes back and it's like, no, you're dead now. Fuck off.
Though. He wouldn't act like that with the crown. That seemed way out of character when I'd seen him lead on the actual cartoon. That fell out of character because that's not giving us what we want. It's like,
right. Well, like I said, corporate's kind of out of touch with that kind of stuff.
I would have liked it if they'd done that. Starscream should have stayed in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they were going to do that, have Starscream die at a certain point in the film when it's revealed Megatron's back or something like that, but have him fight Megatron or something. Not die like a bitch in 2 seconds and act so out of character for plot convenience that it's almost like a 2-year-old wrote this script. Haha, then Starscream has like a crown on his head. Haha, he's like, haha, hail me, I am the greatest. Then suddenly Megatron shows up. No, wait, he's Galvatron for no reason and shoots him with a gun.
Stacy wrote this?
Pretty much, it's written by a 2-year-old. I've seen fanfics written better than this film.
Fair enough. Like I said, I could totally see the negatives of the film, and I can agree with him. I still like the film, but again, that's just opinion.
Yes.
So that'll do it from us from the X-Pound here at Around the Pound. Thank you two for joining me for this Around the Pound.
And it was a pleasure. And next week we get to do the greatest.
Yep. Jim, are you there?
They will be the greatest.
Yes, he is.
For no reason.
But yes, next week do join us for the top 5 best movies based on children's TV, hosted by the TV guy, Mr. James Phoenix. Let us know if there's any movies you would have loved to see on this list of the worst and why you thought they were the worst. If you agree or disagree with us, we'd love to hear from you. Until next week, have a good evening, folks.
Peace.
Yep.